I have your attention, please? Hi, my name's Traut. I'm a Unitarian Civic Councilmember, and today I will be donating 2 flags to the church, pride flags, in respect of Harvey Milk Day, which is this Wednesday. I'd like to start by discussing a few LGBT issues that I believe are important and relevant to talk about. The first one is that President Obama, he came out with his approval of same-sex marriage, and would like the Supreme Court to rule against California's Proposition 8 offensive marriage. He said that over the years he has been going through an evolution on the issue. Personally, I believe this makes opponents on the far right extra angry because they don't believe in gay marriage or evolution. I have a couple recommendations for the local boards of education that I'm glad to see the Anaheim High School Board of Trustees has My first recommendation is that we implement comprehensive school bullying harassment policies targeted towards the LGBT youth. Second, I believe that the boards of education should support gay-straight alliances as they are doing here in Orange County. Third, I believe it is important to provide training for school staff to better respond to the LGBT harassment in schools. And 4, I believe it is important to increase student access to LGBT inclusive curricular resources. In regards to scouting, which many of you know, they said that they will continue to ban gays. Well, as an Eagle Scout myself, I believe that the BSA, Boy Scouts of America, is not living up to part of the oath that I as an Eagle Scout have taken every other Scout, which says to be morally straight. Between this and same-sex marriage, it seems like people really just don't want gay people tying knots. So in regards to legalizing gay marriage, I have 6 main points that I would like to discuss. My first one, laws against gay marriage send the message that discrimination is acceptable, and this has been proven to have many harmful psychological effects, not only to the LGBT individual, but to the rest of their family and the community as a whole. Second, the term traditional marriage, I believe, is a fallacy. I somehow doubt gay marriage is destroying the family when something called a snooki is allowed to reproduce. 3, marriage is a civil right. 4, marriage brings financial gain to the government along with benefits for the couples. That is a fact. When, let's say when a spouse dies or a partner dies, if they are not seen by the state as married, there are a lot of benefits that they lose out on and a lot of troubles that this may cause. 5, gay marriage in regards to orphans, I believe it would make it much more easier for them to adopt because there are tens of thousands of orphans waiting to be adopted. I do acknowledge that yes, it is technically illegal for gays to adopt, but if you're not married, it makes it 80% more likely that you're not going to be approved for adoption, or it will take up to 3 years longer. And finally, 6, where gay marriage is legal, divorce rates are lowest. And I ask how there is a sanctity of marriage if the divorce rate for straight couples hovers around 50%. Former Republican Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, as many of you know, Chapman President Phil, says that he does not support gay marriage. By that, he must mean that marriage is a sacred sacrament, a sacrament that should only be between a man and his first, second, and third wives. Put simply, I do not believe that anyone should deny same-sex couples the right to access civil marriage. And as a quote from Jesus about what he said about being against gay people, well, he didn't say anything. So in regards to Harvey Milk Day, just telling you a little background about who Harvey Milk was. He was the first openly gay person elected to public office, this was back in 1978, to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. Yes, he was murdered tragically 1 year into office. When I was reading about him, a quote that stood out to me that his campaign manager said summarizes who he was as a person and what he stood for in about 2 sentences. And I quote, "What set Harvey apart from the community was that he was a visionary. He imagined a righteous world inside his head, and then he set about to create it for real, for all of us. Back in 2009, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Barack Obama. This was given to his, I believe, was his nephew. And something that pertains to Anaheim that I see that Harvey Milk, it was something that I heard about him that relates to what's going on now with Anaheim districting elections. He was interested in the importance of neighborhoods to the cities and believed that we should have representation on the neighborhood level, community level, and that you should be able to hold your representatives accountable to have one representative for your community, which is exactly what I believe, or I hope that the council will put to the ballot soon to implement district elections here in Anaheim. So, Harvey Milk Day, it was originally organized by the Harvey Milk Foundation, but the day itself was vetoed by Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger back in 2008. Then it was passed in 2009 after the movie Milk garnered support. So, to discuss more about the resolution that the Anaheim City Council implemented, or the proclamation, saying that May 22nd, so I believe it's this Wednesday, is Harvey Milk Day. I'd like to welcome my good friend, Councilman Brandman, to discuss the
My name is Brandman. I'm your neighbor. I'm just down the street. I was very proud to be here a few years ago when I was on the Public Utilities Board to help you dedicate solar panels on your wonderful roof. And I have to say that it has been a privilege to drive by the center almost every day and see that you stand for equality and you've had this flag flying high for, gosh, it's going on 3 years, I think. 4 or 5. Well, I had the honor of being elected to the Anaheim City Council last November, and since being elected, we on the council decided to approve a new calendar of proclamations to be presented annually. And within that calendar of proclamations, it ensures that everyone is recognized, which includes honoring Harvey Milk and LGBT pride and all of the major ethnicities that represent our city. And when Connor invited me here today, I said, well, that's so apropos because we on the council just approved a proclamation on our Harvey Milk. So if you would allow me, indulge me, I'd like to read that proclamation to you. The Harvey Milk Day Proclamation, approved by the Anaheim City Council. Whereas Harvey Milk was an important social and political pioneer of the 20th century, becoming the first openly gay man to be elected to public office in California, he was remembered as a champion for the rights and equality of all people, including the elderly, small business owners, the many ethnic communities, as well as the growing gay community. And whereas Harvey Milk, as a young man, served his country proudly in the United States Navy during the Korean War, and in his life adhered to the core values of honor, to be truthful in our dealings with each other, courage to do what is right, even in the face of personal or professional adversity, and commitment to show respect towards all people without regard to race, religion, or gender. And whereas Harvey Milk was elected in 1977 to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, and while in office made several milestone achievements that gave hope to millions of people across the country that a day would come when they would live their lives openly and honestly without fear of discrimination. And whereas the Anaheim City Council recognizes Harvey Milk's legacy, provides lessons from which all Americans can learn as we face the challenges of our day, let us do so with determination of Harvey Milk and celebrate his message of hope, civic-mindedness, and community. Now, be it hereby proclaimed by the Anaheim City Council in Harvey that May 22nd, 2013 be designated as Harvey Milk Day in the city of Anaheim. And on this day, the City Council encourages all citizens to rededicate ourselves not only to the cause of equal rights for all people, but also to the peaceful and democratic process envisioned by our nation's founders, signed by all members of the Anaheim City Council. It really is a privilege to represent all the communities of Anaheim on the City Council, and I do believe that the best is yet to come, that we are about to engage, beginning this summer, in a great debate about how the city is to be governed. And I hope that everything that we have gone through in the last 5 years will allow for a full deliberation and conversation about what we in Anaheim and in Greater Orange County want for all of our communities. So with that, we're here to do something, aren't we, Connor? So why don't you come on up?
So on behalf of myself and Delegate D.R. Haywood and the Orange County Gay and Lesbian Center of Orange County, an advocate for the LGBT community, I'd like to present to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Anaheim 2 LGBT pride flags to be hung on each street corner. So if I could open.
Chair of the Social Justice Committee. Yeah, well, you can go on.
Tell people on that. There we go.
There we go.
Perfect. Symmetry.
It's a little crooked flag.
You don't have to be straight. Great.
Yeah, we got 2 corners.
I'd like to close with the short speech that I wrote in regards to and the LGBT rights of the community. With the foundations set by Harvey Milk, I support the notion that the gay community has become more visibly diverse in over time, when they have limited legal rights, when their sexual orientation was regarded as a form of mental illness. Now that the barriers to assimilation have been falling so rapidly, you have 2 types in the community. 1, those who are more concerned with legal equality, and 2, those who are more concerned with issues of social justice. There is a battle over who is defining and shaping the issues, and I don't think that is a bad thing. Some people want to suppress the diversity, but I believe the fight is important. Their radicalness have been used by people who want to show the queer community as a bunch of deviants, and their mainstreaming is also harmful, particularly to the queer people of poor places. One of the most disappointing pieces for me in the LGBT movement has been that it's been too much framed simply by gay marriage and divorced from economic justice. 2 people who do the same job equally well deserve the same rewards, whether they are man or woman, whether they are black, white, Hispanic, and whether they are gay or straight. I believe in supporting the battle for defining and shaping issues that are important to move forward in creating an ethical relation with what society says is right in our social norm. Sometimes, moral discourse takes a new action for evolving virtues. An act is right when and because it respects human rights, relevant to the situation. An act is right when and because it is required by that set of rules which maximizes good. I support changing the rules for advancement in an evolving societal thought process. The Bible states in Deuteronomy 22 that a marriage shall be considered valid only if the wife is a virgin. If she is not a virgin, she shall be executed. The Bible may also state that gay marriage is a sin, but I ask, where does that say it in our Constitution? Some may fear progress by creating the fear itself within outrageous claims. Gay marriage won't lead to dog marriage. It's not a slippery slope to rampant interspecies coupling. When women got the right to vote, I'm pretty sure it didn't lead to hamsters voting, as no court has extended the equal protection protection clause to sample. An LGBT person should not have to wake up and think that they are queer. They should wake up and think that they are homo. That idea of a never never land, the great escape, I believe it can definitely be defined in that way. That it's as if lost kids are hanging out in a place that's a safe haven. Whatever your tune is, whether you're gay, straight, bi, today you're allowed to live it and people don't judge as much. Now you're going through a gentrification period with more people, families, rather than a cruising bar area, but a goal for assimilation. I'm very proud to be in Anaheim. I'm proud to be here today where May 22nd is proclaimed Harvey Milk Day with the support of the Council and Councilmember Brandman. Not everyone may be from our city or even born in this nation, but we are all here and our soul and hearts are American. It took a while to come home, but we are almost here. Thank you all for attending and for the donation from the Senator of Orange County and Delegate D.R. Hager. May God bless you and may God bless every American for who they were born to be.
Thanks for the flag. Flag.